Ruth, let's talk for a moment about the pandemic. So can you share with us the steps that your organization had to take to reprioritize its portfolio of projects in the face of COVID-19, which, obviously everybody on this call has had to deal with?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, as you just said, Sean, everybody's had to deal with the current pandemic, but as it hit, as an organization, we had to react really quickly and impactfully so we could protect the business ultimately. We all want a business in the future, so we had to react and mobilize really quickly. I have to say, KeyedIn was central to this. We had data readily available. We had clear transparency on portfolio prioritization, on layering on top of the resources that were required to support that, and also the benefit realization that came with that portfolio delivery model that we'd got in place. KeyedIn allowed us to present to our core leadership team, the highest level, 3 scenarios: high impact with high cost reduction, but very high impact to the delivery portfolio and benefit plan. The medium sort of level of impact from a resourcing perspective, with minimal or slightly reduced impact to the portfolio and benefit realization. And then obviously the lowest level of cost reduction and portfolio impact with benefit realization there. And I think having that data and the foreview of our resource team's forecast, we knew both from an agile perspective, so what our agile scrum teams were working on, and also our traditional task-based teams, allowed us to see what that impact would be and really analyze the cost impact from a resource perspective, but the benefit impact from having to make tough decisions within the portfolio. 2 really interesting things that came out of this exercise, let's say, were just the realization to the wider community of just how many key resources are spread across the portfolio. I think there's an interesting mindset, certainly in Office Depot, that people are designated to one project, but our core priority projects within the portfolio that are planned to enable, the highest level of benefit for us, have got multiple resources from multiple teams. So, utilising the government's furlough scheme, for instance, on one resource would impact potentially 5 projects. So there had to be a lot of analysis and understanding of what the impact of a decision would be. The second interesting, or I'm quite proud of this, the second interesting thing that came out of that was, as a department, so digital engineering, innovation and delivery, our department, we were able to mobilize and actuate the same level of cost reduction as the rest of the organization. So on our fast action, our fast mobilization of these scenarios, straight up to the leadership, to the top, for them to make the decision and us to action those, we were able to really save actual money for Office Depot without significantly impacting the benefit. So I'm really proud of that.
Out of curiosity, these 3 scenarios that you talked about, what was the timeline? Like, how quickly were you able to put those together and get those in front of the executive team? Because I know that stroke a week.
A week from start. We had everybody that needed to give us input in a call, virtually. Obviously, we were all working from home. So on a Teams call, data's in front of them, impact we're checking off. We then split out. We have mini workshops within the different areas within our department. We then reconvene, and the scenario starts to take shape really quickly. Within 2 or 3 days, we've got this, we've got this focus area of, we know what the business priorities are. We can then map on the resources, and that impact assessment happened really quickly. So we had that 3 scenarios set within a week. The decision came a few days after, once the core leadership team had analysed and thought about that. So yeah, it was really quick.
That's a week with no sleep and lots of caffeine.
Maybe. Yeah, no, there was not. I am not saying that I did this on my own. The team was vast. We really pulled together as a department. So you know, it was fantastic to see.
Beautiful. Mike, on this subject of unexpected changes, I know your team dealt with a previously unforeseen security mandate from one of your customers. Can you talk about that experience and how you managed that?
Yeah, actually, what it was is not so much about information security, but it was about a need to get into the security industry. So it was a channel that didn't exist for us before. And basically, well, and I'll just use the name because they're not trying to keep it private. Comcast, which is a behemoth, is a huge company, said, look, if you're going to be a partner with us, you need to be in the security arena because this is a major product line for us. So we're investing in this. We need you to be tracking along with us. So we went out and acquired a company, which is based on security, working with securities. Same thing actually with thermostats. Another requirement or related requirement was, another major customer said, you need to become experts in this area. Didn't have the internal expertise, so we went out and acquired, both of these are relatively small companies, but very, very expert in their fields. We just made them part of our mix. And so that was also, it's once again, we couldn't stay as sort of a static organization. We had to be agile enough to, and I'm not purposely being boorish, coining that term, but in saying, well, okay, that engineering department and our engineering department are not used to working in the same manner. So how can we start to align? And actually, when you do an acquisition like that, you have challenges with people wanting to do things very freeform versus something that's scalable. And so sort of leveraging their skill set, but making it scalable and leveraging our resources was quite challenging. But so, now that's a fairly significant part of our business. In fact, one of our major customers in the security area was Ring, and that they became one of our largest customers. So what started as sort of an investment under direction from a customer became a separate area of profit for the organization.
I think that's a very appropriate example for the A word. And it obviously demonstrates this idea that had you been operating strictly on some rigid annual plan, you wouldn't have been able to turn and move so quickly into those markets. Thank you.